Welcome back to another video. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. MeiaSoQuick with the uploads. Intro's over. Subscribe before you go. Welcome back, it's MeiaSoQuick, and in today's video I'm going to be doing some nails in honor of Black History Month. So I'm going to be starting off with this black nail polish. It's Beetle's Gel Polish in color 895, and I'm just already have buffed the shine off my nail, so I just went ahead and filed it gently just to get away with that shine, and I swiped it with some alcohol so that the surface is perfect just for gel polish. And then I'm going to go in with a thin coat and just do a whole coat on the nail. All right, as you can see, I'm just really trying to make sure that these layers are thin because it's going to be a lot of polish. I'm going to be doing several different steps with all of these nails today, so definitely make sure that you get it very even as you can, and be sure to cap those free edges, especially on the stiletto nails. You don't want any of the polish being easily to chip. And then once I do that, I am going to go ahead and cure it under the lamp for 2 minutes, and then I do a second coat. So once my second coat is done, I'm ready to go in, and I'm going to go in with this white color 894, and then I'm taking my McCart detailer brush. This comes in a set of 3 on Amazon, and I'm using the smallest one, so this fine tip in number 1. So you'll see me here. I'm trying to get it as best as I can, so forgive me if my hand gets in the way. So I start off just by making kind of this little, triangle almost without or a little carrot. That's what we call this, right? So once I got that, I'm just trying to sketch out a black power fist. So that is what I'm trying to do for this nail, and I'm gonna kind of do it in reverse. At the end, you'll see that my fist is gonna be black, but for a while it's going to be definitely looking a little bit different. So I'm just trying to get this general shape, and as you can see, I've got this in real time. I usually bounce my brush. I look at things and then I'm like, oh, I don't like that, and you'll see in a second that I realize this is way too small. So I'm kind of going to go right over this same shape, just extend it further out. So you'll see me do that in just a second. So as you can see, the black fist is definitely now standing out against this whole white background. So I did a coat of this really thin and then I cured it, and then I went back in again with another coat. And then once I had both of those two white coats done, this nail is pretty much all together done, and I'm gonna go in with a matte top coat. I wanna go ahead and matte this nail off. And then so I'm just gonna apply once again a top coat on here, and then I'm going to set it under my lamp to cure for 2 minutes. And yeah, that makes up nail number 1. So to see the final nail look, you just wait for the end and you can see what it actually looks like once this nail has actually dried. So once I'm done with that nail, I want to go in and start on my next nail. And in my next nail, once again, I've already started off with a buff surface, and I'm going in with this color 337, which is just a regular pure yellow. And I'm just going to go ahead and cover the whole nail in this yellow. Once again, I'm going to do 2 thin coats to make it very opaque. And this is going to be the basis for the rest of the artwork. And like I said, stay tuned, pay attention, because it starts off one way and it never ends this way, okay? So once I've got 2 coats fully on that nail, I'm gonna go in with a red. And for this red, I'm using the color number 330. And then I'm gonna be taking my number 2 McCart brush. It's the second largest or the second biggest in the whole set. And I'm gonna use that just to go ahead and do a stripe down, or actually I'm using a number 3. This is the actual longest one. And I'm using this because I'm gonna be doing vertical lines down the nail, and sometimes if you use the really short one, you have to keep stopping, starting, and I really just want to try to get like as much as I could going all the way down the nail, because my line work I still need practice on. You know, let me know if you also do nails and if you're like, oh, the lines, and I am a perfectionist, so I hate it when my lines aren't super crisp. So as you can see, I'm just taking my time and I'm doing a straight line down, and then once I've got that straight line and I'm satisfied with it, I'm gonna go in and then just grab more globs of the red nail polish and fill that whole right side of the nail with red. So once I got this whole side of red, instead of going on to the next color, like I said, I'm just going to be curing it after each color that I do, just so to make sure that I don't mess up and don't hit anything and make it harder for myself later on. Okay, so as you can see, that's what it looks like. My lines actually came out really, really good for once. So I go ahead and I let that cure for 2 minutes. And then once that comes out of the lamp, I'm going to go ahead and do the same exact thing. I just clean off my brush, and I'm doing that with color number 338, which just is a dark green, right? So you really see these African inspired colors, Jamaican inspired colors, right? So you see this in a lot of the African countries. You'll see these colors often throughout. So like I said, I'm doing that same pattern with just another stripe, and I am going to go ahead and fill this in. And then, like I said, you think I'm almost done with this nail? I'm not at all, not at all. You could definitely just end it here if you just like this pattern and call it a day, and that would be great as well. But I want to definitely be super, super extra, because why not? Okay, so once I've got this on here, again, I'm gonna repeat it. I'm gonna go ahead and cure this nail for 2 minutes just to make sure that that color is locked in and that it won't move. And once again, make sure that you guys get those edges, so that, like I said, I don't want any of the yellow to peep through, and I don't want it to cause any chipping. So there it is. Okay, now once I've went ahead and got that cured, I'm going to be taking that same black that I took before, okay, and I'm going to take a detailer brush again, and this time I am going to actually outline the shape of the continent of Africa. So I'm just kind of freehanding it, trying to get it as like close to the real shape as possible, but you know, of course, it ain't perfect, but anyone looking at this will tell that it's supposed to be the continent of Africa, okay? So really simple here. Like I said, you just go ahead and you do the outline of the shape of Africa, and if you mess up, which I think I did a little bit, or at least like to my liking. I think I messed up a little bit. So I went in again with my little cleanup brush with some acetone, and then I just kind of cleaned up just to make sure that none of that black got inside. So, and then I went ahead and cured it. And like I said, you could leave the nail here at this point, but I wanted to go ahead and be extra and make this kind of look like the colors were just doing a peekaboo. So I'm taking this black, and this is a more transparent black, so it's not as thick as 895, this 344. So I'm just doing this, and I'm going to do a coat going all around the perimeter of this country, continent, look at me, all around the perimeter of Africa. And then once I'm satisfied with that, after I cure it, I'll go in with a second coat and do the same thing, just so that it reaches, you know, the maximum capacity. Okay, so this is also why, like I said, that you want to work with really thin layers, because in case you're keeping count, I've done 2 of yellow, I've done a nice coat of red, I've done a nice coat of green, and then I'm going to be doing 2 coats of black. So you really want to keep these coats thin so you're not having like a super bulky nail, especially if you're planning on doing any of this type of nail art like on an acrylic nail. You don't want it to get super bulky and built up if you're making your layers too thick. Okay, so as you can see, that is what it looks like, right? Completely different from what we started off as just a plain yellow nail. And I really like this one. This one, you know, like I really don't have a favorite in this, but I definitely want to try to do this type of style more often, because I think it's really cute. So for this nail, I decided that I wanted to actually keep it shiny, so I went in with the Beetles gel polish, Top It Off top gel, which is just the shiny coat, and I went ahead and applied a thin coat of that over the whole nail. And if you want to be creative, you can actually, you know, just do I could have done it where I made the whole red, yellow, and green in matte, and matte topped all of it, and then went in with the black and did the black outline and did a shiny coat on the outside. These are just ideas that I was having after, where you could have had a shiny black with a matte Africa continent in the middle, and I think that could have been cute as well. So just some different ideas if you're planning on doing anything like this or similar. All right, so 2 nails down and 2 to go, and now is where I get into the fun stuff. Okay, for this one, I wanted to try my hand at people, so I'm starting off with A112. This is just a nice brown, if you will. So for this one, I decided that I wanted to do a black king. So from the side profile that I'm going to be doing this. So you might not be able to see all of the line work that I'm doing, but in just a second, I'm going to be filling in the shape. So this is just a man, as if you were looking at his, you know, side profile from like the left side, staring off. And once I have this whole outline shape that I like, I'm just going to go in, and then I'm just going to fill in this whole shape pretty heavily, if you will, just to make sure that you can see it. And if you make mistakes, like I said, it's okay, because you can always go back, and we're going to be doing multiple layers in multiple colors at this point, and outlining is going to fix everything. Okay, if you are ever doing artwork like this, make sure that you always outline. Outlining just makes everything pop, and it makes everything look better. I have definitely learned that over this last couple of months. Okay, so I let that cure, and now here's where I'm going in with the outline. As I mentioned, I'm just doing this with some black, and I'm going to be using pretty much the same detailer brush for the rest of this video. Okay, it's really in handy, and it's super cheap, so you guys can definitely check it out on Amazon. I think I left a link in the description box that you guys can see that will take you directly to this little trio set. So I'm just going to go around and outline this whole shape of this man, and I was really trying to make sure I got the hairline correct and the shape of the head. It's amazing that like I can draw these and paint these on nails, because on paper I can't draw at all. So this is just really kind of, you know, it always surprises me when something comes out well, that I just had an idea in my head and it works out well on nails. So here it might look a little funny. You might be like, what is going on? I don't understand. I'm doing the hair of this man. Okay, so that is what you see me here. I'm filling in the hair and I kind of left a little shape for his ear. Now it's going to look like he has a receding hairline for a little bit, but trust me when I say it's going to come together, okay? So once I got that, I'm going to continue on with my outline on what would be the front of his face and outlining around the nose and the mouth. And now the mouth was a little different because I really wanted to make sure that I can get some details on the lips. And you'll see me come back to that, as well as a beard. So I just decided to kind of draw a beard out of nowhere, and I just really did it kind of making like a little hook shape and just looping it around as best as I could. And then once I got that shape, I just went ahead and filled it in, but I left like a little gap for where the man's mouth would be peeking through his beard, right? So the whole mustache with the beard, and I left a gap to go back and do his mouth later on. So then I went ahead and outlined, and I gave him a little shoulder blade, and then I'm gonna go in and actually just give him some eyes. His eyes are actually closed, and some eyebrows. But I think this, this looks, like I said, really cool. And like I said, I know his hairline is receding a little bit, but we're gonna fix it. We're gonna make sure our Black King looks good, okay? So once you're done with all the outlining, you can go ahead and cure it. I'm just adding the little details in the ear, not even sure if you can see it, but I'm a perfectionist and I can see it, okay? So once you got that, like I said, go ahead and cure that, or you can flash cure it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and continue on. So the next thing that I have is 610, and I just use this color for his lips. It's like a lightish pinkish, all right, but not like anything too out there, okay, if you know what I mean. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this, and then later on I'll have to come back to these lips once this dries and do the outlining of the actual lips with black again. But so once I got that, I'm gonna go in and I'm actually gonna decide to do the, what is next? Come on, video, what are you doing? What am I doing? Yes, I'm gonna do this crown. So I just have this yellow, the same yellow that I used on the previous nail. All right, and then I'm gonna actually go ahead and make the shape of a crown. We probably all did this when we were little. So I'm just pretty much drawing a straight line and then 3 triangles at the top. That's it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and fill that in with the yellow gel polish, and that's super simple at that point. So then once I have that all filled in, I'm gonna go ahead and let that cure while it's all good and clean up any of my line work. And once it's cured, I'm gonna be sure that I also apply an outline to that crown, because as I said before, everything looks better, everything pops when you actually apply an outline. So once I have that all outlined, I'm going in and I'm making some more little details on his crown just to make sure that that will, actually pop against this, so that it just doesn't get lost. Like I said, these details really just help to make sure that it just doesn't get lost in it. And then I added some more to his hairline because it was killing me, because I really did. I had him balding. So I added some more hair on his hairline, and then once I did that, I went in and actually did the details on his lips just to make sure that it didn't just look like a pink blob, but that he actually had some shape to his lips there. And it's really looking good. I was really surprising myself at this point. So then I decided that I wanted to do some little highlights. So I just grabbed some white, and you'll see me just kind of going around and making some random little highlights, just to kind of make it not so one-dimensional. And I added highlights on the crown as well, but my lights are shining super bright, so you probably won't be able to see that. Okay, and as always, once I've done that, I went ahead and let this cure, because once I think I do something good, I want to cure it so it's locked in so I don't mess it up. Okay, so after that, I'm grabbing just this deeper brown. It's in A111, and then I'm just going to be doing some random shading, just like I said, to not make it seem so one-dimensional. So I'm just going to be shading these in different areas. I'm not really sure if you can pick it up here, but you'll be able to see it all when it's all said and done, how much it adds some depth and dimension to this actual artwork on this nail. So once I have that, that is pretty much it, okay? That is it. I let it cure, and then my final step was that I wanted to actually go ahead and matte top coat this nail. So when it was cured, I went ahead and applied a matte top coat over all of it, and then I let that cure, and you can see how it finally came out once again at the end of the video, okay? If you're impatient, just go ahead and skip ahead. I don't mind. All right, so for my final nail, if I did a black king, of course, you know I gotta do a black queen. So for this one, I decided that this queen is going to be looking dead on. So I have where I'm just sketching out her face. And as I said, if I ever go too small, then I just go back and I outline it and make it a little bit wider. And then once I have the shape, I just go ahead and fill it in with brown. So it's kind of like the same steps that we did with the guy. And then I give her a little bit of ears, and I tend to be pretty happy with this shape, so I go ahead and I let that cure under the lamp. Now I'm going in and I'm going to outline. As I said, outlining, most important thing to make things pop. And so I'm going to go ahead and outline the outside of her head and start to actually do some of the details on her hair. So I gave this black queen edges, okay? We are not going to have bald edges for any queens in 2021, let alone during Black History Month. She's going to have full edges, okay? Baby hairs, edges, whatever you want to call them, okay? So I'll go ahead and do that final outline, and I make sure that I get her ears as well. So once I got that, I'm going to go ahead and start doing her actual facial features. So I start off with the lips, and for the lips, I just do like a half moon shape, and then I do the opposite shape at the top, and then later on, I'm actually going to fill that in with, I'm going to be super detailed with her lips. What can I say? For the nose, you just kind of make 2 dots and a nice little line straight down. And then for her eyes, I also have her eyes closed, so I did like little half moon shapes. And then I added eyebrows, some nice little arched eyebrows. All right, so everything is really starting to come together. You can actually start to see the face. I went in and I added, like I said, some baby hairs, some little edges, just to kind of make it look more realistic. And I'm actually also going to do, at this point, I'm gonna actually start to do her hair, which this queen is gonna have a nice mane, all right, a giant afro, okay, the crown that she was born with. And then I'm going in and I'm just adding some eyelashes and doing some more details there just to make it stand out, and actually giving her kind of like a little crease in her eyes, where you would apply makeup if you apply makeup. And then doing the top of her afro, as you can see. And once I got that, I let that cure. And now I'm going in and I decided that I actually wanted to give her clothes. So, because she just had this kind of like floating head. So I'm just giving her a white t-shirt, something super simple. All right. And then I'm just sketching that little shape out, and I'm gonna fill that all in with white once I have that. Now, I don't think that I showed it on camera, but I did at one point go in and I just did like a tiny hint of black mixed in with the white, and I did some shading as well on the shirt that kind of looked a little gray in certain places, but it did help bring out, just like I said, getting that depth, getting that multi-dimensional feel on these nails. Right, so once I went ahead and did the shirt, which I liked, I think I went ahead and then I started to do the details on the ears, and then I let that cure, and when it was done curing, I went ahead and filled in all of the luscious goodness of this gigantic afro, okay? Because right now she's just bald-headed, which bald-headed is cute, but it's not enough for this nail. All right, so I'm going in and just filling in that whole afro, like I said, just with this detailed brush. And I actually only did one coat of this, but if you wind up missing spots, you can always go back and clearly add a second coat when you do it, just to make sure that it's fully opaque. And as you can see, it's really coming together. It's almost done. It's almost done, okay? So there it is with her afro completely filled in. And it's looking good at this point. So then the next thing that I did, I just finished off the little details on her hair. Like I said, no bald edges, not here. All right, once I did that, I actually outlined her shirt. Like I said, I didn't get that on camera. And then I actually took that same yellow that I did on the Black King's crown, and I actually gave her a crown. I changed up her crown a little bit, right? So her crown is just the same thing, a bunch of triangles, but it's just layered triangles. So I did some skinny triangles in the front, and then I did some triangles behind it. So, and I also gave her some big hoop earrings. And then I went in with some details. I highlighted in white, and I filled in her lips with the same color that I did on the guy. And then the last thing that I decided to do, I decided to take some glitter gel polish, and I'm just going over the crown because I wanted her crown to shine. Now what I meant to do was actually matte top coat everything before I went in with this glitter polish, so that way it would really stand out. But in case you do it, you can try to do it that way, okay? If not, it still looks good, but on the camera you might not be able to see all the details just because it's still super shiny. But I went in with this gold gel polish over the crown and over her earrings, and then for her I finally actually also did a top coat in a shiny top coat. And at the end, this is what all of the nails look like. By all means, please tell me what you guys think of it, right? And I'll give you guys all closer views so you can see. There is the African nail, right? I think these like came out so wonderful. There is my Black Queen, right, with all those little details, as you can see, and you can see the shading on the shirt as well. All right, then we have our Black King, all right, our Black King, and then finally you can see the Black Power Fist. Okay, this was so fun to do, and just an idea that I really had like last minute, and was super shocked to see that it came out good. So thank you guys so much for sticking to the end, or fast forwarding if you just came here. Thank you guys so much. Feel free to subscribe or like the video, or leave me a comment on what else you'd like to see, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, bye.